Hello everyone, welcome on Pressure Goals. And now in this video, I will perform the integration practical of Prometheus server with Grafana. In my previous video, or I can say in my Grafana video, in which I described that what is Grafana and what is the working of the Grafana. So you can go through this video to understand the basic of Grafana. And now for performing this whole setup, what we have to do first, we have to launch. First, we have to do a setup of node exporter and Prometheus server. So, if you have watched my previous video of Prometheus, then there you can easily understand how to launch node exporter and how to integrate node exporter to the your Chrome server. Okay, so uh, I will not start this task from the basic. So you have to do only this setup. Uh, you have to do from my previous video, or I can say from my Prometheus video, in which I tell that what is Prometheus and how to integrate Node Explorer to the your Prometheus server. So this much portion you have to set up from my previous video, and now in this video I will launch the operating system for my Grafana. Okay, here I would like to tell you that how to install Grafana in your operating system and how Grafana will integrate to the your Prometheus server. So now I would like to go inside my AWS GUI console. Here you can see that I have two instances in the stopped state. So firstly I have to start these instances. As these two instances and how we set up and how we configure these two instances, you can do this from my previous video. The name of the video is Prometheus, in which I tell you that how to launch this Prometheus server and exporter and how to integrate to Prom server. Now here I would like to launch one more instance for Grafana operating system. So here I would like to launch Amazon Linux 2. Select next, next, and here I would like to give all traffic protocol and click on the review and launch. And launch instances. Okay. So now here Grafana operating system has been successfully launched. Now I have to queue to the instance name Grafana. Grafana. Yeah. Save. So firstly I would like to tell the little bit about the Chrome server and exporter by through the inside of operating system. So firstly I would like to open Chrome server operating system. So I will open these instance in the putty by using putty program, because if we connect to these operating system by window, then there we have some limited power, like we cannot copy paste the content from outside the operating system. So we have to use putty program for this. So for this we have to copy this public IP, paste, and you have to give your key. Here the key, yeah, this is the key, and click on open. Click on open. Okay, guys, this is your Chrome server, and how to install and how to configure the Chrome server. I already discussed in my previous video. Now here I have to go inside my root account. There you can see that this is a successfully installed Prometheus tar.gz. And now what you have to do, you have to go inside this folder, and here you have to configure this file for integrate to the your exporter. Prometheus dot YAML. Okay, now here guys, here you can see that I configured this Prometheus server for two exporter. First is node exporter and second is docker exporter. So how to write this, you can take idea from my previous video of Prometheus. So what I have to do extra, I have extra do only uh, two things, like I add job node exporter job and I add docker exporter job. Okay, and in the static configs portion I attach the targets. Guys, this is a IP of my public IP of the exporter, and this 9100 port number of node exporter, and 1234 port number is of my docker exporter. Here the docker exporter port number, it's depend upon you on which port you want to expose your docker matrix. Okay, so you have to do this inside your prom server, prometheus.yaml file. And now I would like to show you node exporter operating system. So for this I have to start new session, c2-user, and same thing you have to do whatever you did with Prometheus server, and use the public IP. Click on SSH auth and import your key. Click on open and click on open. Now you are inside your node exporter operating system. So here you can also see that node exporter has been successfully installed in this operating system. You have to go inside this node exporter directory, and here guys, what I do in this task extra, like in my Prometheus video I attached only node exporter to the Prometheus server. Okay, but here I do one more thing. Here I make a docker as exporter. If you found a exporter from docker in Prometheus, then for docker they have not any kind of exporter, so you can do this by changing some docker files. Like here you can see that docker has been successfully installed in my system. Status docker, here you can see that docker is in running state. So for making the docker matrix, what you have to do, you have to go inside the cd/etc and docker directory ls. Here if you do first, then here you will get only key.json file, not daemon.json file. So you have to create the daemon.json file. Okay, and you have to type this code here. Okay, and what you have to do, inside this code, these keywords will be same like matrix address and experimental. You have to do changes inside the IP and port. Okay, here the port number is depend whatever you choose, you can choose any port number, and this is a private IP of my node exporter instance. Guys, you have to notice this thing. Don't type the public IP of the instance, otherwise your docker.daemon will not start. Means if you restart the your docker, then it will show a error. So you have to type the private IP of your instance. Means you have to give this private IP 172.3150.6 IP to the your instance. Okay, and now I start this operating system again. So in my case here public IP is changed, So for this I have to do changes inside my Prometheus server operating system. So I have to copy this public IP of exporter and go inside the Prometheus.yaml file, and here this IP is a public IP of my node exporter instance, but here I have to do some changes. Here you have to type the public IP of your node exporter. Okay, same thing you have to do here. Paste and save this file. Now what you have to do, you have to start your Prometheus server. So for starting, you have to run only one command, /Prometheus, and click enter. So now your Prometheus server has been start. You can check via your browser. So for this you have to copy the Prom server public IP, paste and type 9090 port number for accessing the Prometheus web UI. Now here you can see that Prometheus web UI has been come in your browser. So here I would like to check my targets, how many targets we have. So I already performed this. So here you can see that node exporter here means I have a one target. Node exporter is in down state because it is not connected. Here you can see that it's coming in healthy state. So what I have to do for integrate the node exporter to the my Prometheus server. So I have to here do same thing, close this file and go inside my node exporter folder directory, and here I have to do same thing whatever I did with my Chrome server. Like here you have to start your node exporter dot slash node exporter and click hit enter. Okay, now when you refresh this, you will get that your Docker exporter, sorry, not Docker exporter, refresh. Yeah, now here you can see that your Docker exporter is on running state, and your node exporter is also on running state. Why it shows 3? Because in Prometheus, if you notice that there is a local host uh, matrix is also add as a job inside the Prometheus.yaml, so it shows 3. And now for showing the matrices information, I would like to use a one very beautiful visualization tool, and the name of that tool is Grafana. So now we have to install the Grafana tool inside our operating system. So here you can see that for the Grafana, I launched one operating system. Firstly, I would like to connect or go inside this operating system. New session, EC2-user, paste public IP and your private key. This is the operating system of Grafana. Let's take some time. I don't know. Yeah, it's work. So for installing the Grafana, you have to search on Google Grafana download for Linux. Okay, and click on this link, download Grafana. Okay, it will send you on your official page of grafana.com, and here it gives some commands for installing the Grafana inside your operating system. So in my case, our operating system comes in the category of Red Hat and CentOS. So we have to use these commands to install the Grafana. for this you have to copy and paste. Yeah, and now what you have to do, you have to install, because this command will download the package, and now uh, this command will install the Grafana. Okay, hit enter. Yes, and now what you have to do, now the Grafana has been successfully installed inside your operating system. So now I would like to start the Grafana. So for this we have a command systemctl enable uh, Grafana hyphen server. Sorry, there is a spelling mistake in enable. Yeah, and now what you have to do, you have to start your Grafana server. Yeah, and now for accessing the Grafana server, you have to type the public IP of your Grafana and give the port number 3000 for access the Grafana. The default port number of the Grafana is 3000. So here what you have to do, you have to copy the public IP of your instance, paste and type port number. Now as you can see that Grafana UI is visible on your front of screen. So I'm a new user, so the email and the password has been saved. The username is admin for the first type when you launch this, and password is also admin. Okay, and click on the login. You can change your password, but I would like to skip. Now guys, here you can see the beautiful GUI of the Grafana. So I would like to connect Grafana to the Prometheus web server. So what you have to do, you have to add your first data source. You have to click here and click on the Prometheus. Here you have to select, and in this portion guys, you have to give only the URL of your Prometheus web server. In my case, this is the URL of my Prometheus server. I have to copy this and paste here. Okay, and click on save and test. Click on dashboard, and what you have to do, you have to click on the import, and here in this Prometheus 2.0 stats you have to also click on import. Okay, and now you have to click on the Prometheus status. So guys, here you can see the uptime of my exporter 7.6 minutes, local storage memory series no data. And now for the visuals, you have to visuals, or you can say whenever you run any query, and if you want to see the query results in a data form, so for this you have to create a dashboard. So for this you have to click on the plus button, and now you have to click on the add an empty panel. So here you can get a lot of graphs, in which types of graphs or visualization you are comfortable, you can select. Let's give a lot of types. I would like to use Gauss. Okay, so it shows no data, means it have don't any kind of data. For shows the data visualization, you have to first add the data source. So for this I would like to add the data source. Click on this button and select Prometheus default. and it here it said that last 6 hours. So our exporter and Prometheus server has been started some minutes ago. So you have to change this timing. Like our exporter and Prometheus server has been started 6 minutes ago. So last 5 minutes will absolutely work. It's give some data and click on Prometheus default. And now what you have to do, you have to run some query. So here I would like to collect some information of the Docker. So for this I have to type some command related to the daemon, related to the Docker for collecting the Docker metrics. Like here I would like to count the container action of Docker. Okay, so here you have to select this or run this from QL query. Guys, now you can see that the data of this query has been come in the form of visualization. Okay, so here you can run multiple queries. Last 5 minutes, last 15 minutes, you can select according to your need. There's a lot of things which is depend upon your need. Whatever need you have, you can do this. Now I would like to run one more query to asking the how much free RAM inside my node exporter. So here you can see node memory mem free bytes. This is a one Chrome query language. Yeah. Now you can see that this much bytes of memory has been free or inside your node exporter, and I would like to see this in KB. So for this you have to divide 1024. Okay, now it's coming the KB. You can run multiple queries. It's depend upon you. Now I would like to save this. Let's ask about the dashboard name. I would like to task. I would like to give the name to the task of this dashboard name. Click save. Okay, and now guys, whenever you need to see the visuals, you can come inside your Grafana GUI and click on the dashboard. Or yes, yeah, yeah, click on your dashboard. And here in the recently viewed dashboards, you will get your task which you have added or which you create. Then click on the view, and here you can select your timing or you can refresh dashboard. Would like to see for last 5 minutes and refresh. Okay, here you can see that it's a real-time dashboard. And here you can also run some query inside this. So guys, this is a integration of Prometheus with Grafana. I think your concept has been clear that how the Grafana will work with your Prometheus and how to integrate Prometheus with Grafana. Thanks for watching this video and please like and subscribe this video. Okay.